Formula 1 is officially back and we are here for the Bahrain Grand Prix, and it has been confirmed by Mercedes that they have got a partnership clause with Tom. Now, back during pre-season testing at Silverstone, Mercedes and Toto Wolff kind of gave a little bit of a glimpse that the partnership between themselves and Tom was not over. During the team principals press conference, they were asking Toto Wolff if they were disappointed that the partnership between themselves and Tom had ended, in which Toto Wolff at the time smiled and said the partnership is not over. Who said it was? So that obviously got everybody talking. Well, what do you mean who said it was over? So obviously things started to begin to unravel, and of course it came out to confirm that they have a partnership clause with Tom. But what does this mean? What it basically means is that Mercedes-Benz and Tom can both work together when they want. Now, while of course Tom wanted to go ahead and find a new challenge and to try and take on another team and see what he can do with them, he didn't want to fully cut ties with Mercedes, so was heavily torn. So Mercedes came up with the partnership clause, basically meaning if you want to go and have a new challenge for a little bit, then by all means do so. But if things start to turn sour for us, you're coming back here and we're going to work together to make it right. And Tom was like, yes, I agree to this. Now, this obviously means that, exactly, if Mercedes need Tom back, they can call him up. If Tom wants to go back to Mercedes, he can call them up. But this is where things get very complicated. Many people in the paddock fear that this clause is going to cause Mercedes some big issues. And this is where the key issue lies. If either Mercedes or Tom try to activate the partnership clause to get reunited with each other, what is that going to happen to one of the drivers within the team? And also, why would two drivers want to be a part of that team, knowing full well that at any point one of them could be kicked out of there when they activate the partnership clause with Tom? So while this has been released and we now understand what Toto Wolff meant by who said it was over, it definitely does open a new can of worms into the driver market for Mercedes-Benz. Take a look at the race news here. McLaren and Porsche were fastest in practice, setting the times alight in FP1, 2 and 3. Meanwhile, Red Bull and Aston Martin were showing great race pace, which gives us the indication that we might just see the teams that are quicker in qualifying start ahead, but then the teams that are quicker in the race start behind, meaning they would have to do the battling on track to get those positions. So that is going to be very interesting to see. What else has been going on? Well, teams have been spending a lot of time testing the tyre wear. There's a big debate going about of whether they can do the one stop, and also there is the debate about the two stop. Now, while the one stop could potentially be viable for teams out there, the tyre wear on Friday was pretty high. But is it going to be more beneficial to run the softs, the mediums, or the hards? Well, everybody was running all of the tyres out there, and it seemed quite difficult to tell which is the best way to go. So that is something that the teams are going to be having to look at. Another team that's going to have to look at their race pace is Audi. Now, while they seemed pretty competitive in qualifying simulation runs, their race pace didn't seem to live up to the expectation of them fighting near the front. So they need to try and balance that out, take away a little bit of the qualifying performance and put some of that into the race trim. But let's get straight into qualifying and the race for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Yo, what's going on guys? It is Foxydude here and welcome back to a brand new season of the F1 journey. We are here for season number 12 now, and the first round of this year is the Bahrain Grand Prix. If you guys end up enjoying today's video, feel free to drop it a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well. And let's get cracking with this Grand Prix weekend then. So we kick things off with qualifying here, and as you can see, we're going around the final corner. This is our very first lap of the weekend, and as you can see, anyone that sets a lap time or is retired or fastest lap or anything like that, please don't take their names as who they are driving. Obviously, there is no mod out there to change the names of the drivers or in fact the team. So when you see Lando Norris going fastest, please just ignore it. It's not Lando Norris. I will tell you who it is as we go along. So hopefully that kind of clarifies that. On our second flying lap here, we go a little bit quicker, but overall, We're currently in P9 at the moment, so it's not really a great start for us. We probably want to be doing a little bit better here. P14 at the moment then, but we've got one more opportunity now to try and get this lap right. So here we go then, on board now. Towards the first corner we go. We're going to brake just at the 100-meter boards here. Nice and late, down and towards turn 1. Get the car slowed in, just a little bit late there on the brakes. Not quite clipping the apex of 1, but it's absolutely fine. And you can see the exit of turns 2 and 3. We're practically even with our current best lap here. Braking just after the 100-meter boards here. Actually getting the car turned in, dropping it to third, chucking it into fourth just to limit the wheel spin. And through sector 1, we gain about 1/10 of a second. And through here, these tight and twisty corners, we once again gain just a little bit of time. It wasn't super clean, not hitting the apex. Same through there. A little bit late on the brakes, but we'll just about get away with it. And we're a 1/10 and a half up on our previous best lap as we now go through in towards turn 11 here. And this time, letting the car run a little bit wider. You can see the last time around, we weren't able to do that. And we gained a little bit of time. Again, only fractions, but that'll do for this stage. As you can see now, going through in towards this part of the track here, letting the car just loop out wide. I actually lost some time through here. So overall, we're not really actually improving on our P14 lap here, but as we go now in towards this second to last corner here, as I like to call it, we do get a nice run through there, and we gain about 1/10 of a second back on the lap then. So we're 2/10 up on our previous best lap. Now going towards the final corner here now, braking just before the 50-meter boards here, getting the car turned in, stick it to the apex here, gain about another 1/10 and a half through there, as we're going to go ahead and cross the finish line. Alright then, it is race time for the Bahrain Grand Prix, and as you can see on the left-hand side of your screens, one of the recommendations for this season of the F1 journey was to understand who's starting where in qualifying, and I found a way to basically make it less time costly for myself. So if you want to go ahead and pause the video to see where everybody's starting and the gaps in qualifying, be sure to go do so, as you would have seen them on there. Obviously, I'm the only one that makes the series, and it genuinely takes about 7-8 hours to do one episode. So yeah, it's not easy to do, but obviously that's where you will find those there. So like I said, feel free to pause it, find out who qualified where, and obviously what the gaps was between all of them. But as you would have seen, Reese is starting on pole for Porsche, literally 1/1000th of a second clear of George Russell in the McLaren. So a super close qualifying session there between them two. We're down in P6. We finished 3/10 behind the fastest lap then. As you can see, we're looking through the race strategy here. We're actually taking some time with this one because there's an option to do the one stop here at Bahrain. I'll always recommend doing the 2-stop, but there is the chance to do a 1-stop. Also, there is a chance to do a 2-stop, but an aggressive one. But for some reason, the game doesn't want you to do soft, medium. It basically wants you to do soft, medium, medium. However, I'm effectively going to say I'm going to go on the softs, do the mediums, and then try and run it that way. In fact, as you can see here, I'm basically working to try and just get this to work. But anyway, what I want to try and do is, I don't want to do the 1-stop. It is possible, but I just fancied not doing it and being boring. So I'm going to do the 2-stop, but I'm going to start on the softs, go to the mediums, and then go to the softs at the end of the race here. But we've got 5 red lights, which were very, very quick, and they are on, and we are underway here for the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's not a good start from us, though. Verstappen gets the jump on us, going in towards turn 1. We've got somebody else on our outside there, but as we go in towards turn 1, a little bit of contact there with Verstappen going through turn 1. I think Sam there has just gone looping around the outside of myself and also Verstappen here. So as we get the run now up towards turn 4, Verstappen's going quickly here. We need to try and find a way to get through turn 4 without losing the place to Max. So we're going to brake late down the inside and then shut the car wide and completely cut off Max Verstappen. Oscar Piastri, though, my teammate, is right behind me in P8. I think he started down in 11th or 12th place here. So it's a brilliant start for Piastri, and now all of a sudden us two Aston Martins are in P7 and P8, so it's a great start for Piastri. So far, not a good start from me. We're down to P7 after starting in P6 here, but as you can see, back end stepping out a little bit now as we're looking on at the back of Sam in his brand new Audi. Of course, remember, Sam was with McLaren for the last few seasons. He's left them, he's gone to Audi, and of course, they're waiting for a major engine upgrade to come their way, and if they get that, then things could be toasty. But for now, they're just having to settle with what they've got, and as you can see, we're now trying to see if we can get on the back of him. He's already started to become very slightly detached from, I believe that's Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes ahead. So we need to try and pass him. You see, we've got some good straight line speed here, actually. A great run through the last corner as we get now down on the power here, through towards the first corner. As the end of the first lap, Sebastian Vettel leads the Bahrain Grand Prix on his return to Formula 1 in the Red Bull. Reese is second, Norris is third. We've got Russell in fourth, that is, so he's had a bit of a bad start. Hamilton's fifth. We're trying to go down the inside here of Sam to make it P6 for us, but Sam holds it on in there. As we go through now towards the exit of 2 and 3 there, Sam keeps the position. DRS is now enabled, so we can have a look at Sam here going towards turn 4. We're just not close enough though, because Sam's got DRS as well, so that helps him. Piastri, meanwhile, is trying to get past me there. So Oscar, if you wouldn't mind, I understand that I am joining your team, but please can you just let me fight Sam for a lap or so before you come at me. Let's have a look at the race start though and see how everybody got on. So first of all, looking at a natural broadcast camera here, down towards turn 1, Reese doesn't actually get a terrible start, but Vettel gets a brilliant start in the Red Bull and just breezes around the outside. As for us though, we get pinched there on the inside. We then take the slipstream of Sam and then we cut off Verstappen going towards turn 4. This is on board with Vettel though here. You can see that he just gets a brilliant initial reaction, and then all of a sudden he's got a clean run now down towards turn 1 here as he brakes nice and late around the outside on Reese here. Reese has got the inside line, but Vettel's got the better exit and he just drives straight through him. So Vettel has not lost any of his reaction speeds there, so fair play to him. This is George Russell's start then, so you can see it's just not a great getaway. It's just quite sloppy actually. He's constantly looking in the mirrors here to see who's coming which way and where and everywhere. And unfortunately, they're all over the place. And it gets to the point then where Russell's pinned on the inside towards turn 1. I think there's a bit of contact with Lewis Hamilton, but Lando Norris there on the outside just gets the better run, and he's through. As we go on back on board with ourselves here on the end of the second lap here, Piastri is trying to have a look here. He goes down the inside in towards the last corner, tries it in quite a silly place there, loses time in the process, but we get a great run and a great exit here. DRS is enabled now to attack Sam here down towards turn 1. Meanwhile, my teammate Piastri is having to fend off Verstappen, but we're going to go now and just breeze past Sam here. Quite a simple overtake actually. We've got great straight line speed in this Audi, and as you can see, is Piastri fending off Verstappen, so fair play to him. He made up for it after ego challenging me down in towards that last corner, and he's going to try and hold it now up towards turn 4. Meanwhile, Russell and Hamilton are going for it here up towards turn 4. Hamilton does take the place though, and he moves himself up into 4th place this is now, but on the end of that lap that we've just gone on to, lap 3, these two are battling quite hard, and that's actually allowed, well, myself and also Sam, Piastri and Verstappen all to get involved in the mix here. Russell, meanwhile though, gets a bad run out of the last corner. He tried to make a move on Lewis Hamilton. It didn't pay off, similar to what Piastri did on the lap before. Now we've got the DRS here to have a look here as we go, opening up now. We're going to go 3 wide though, because Hamilton there is on the inside and down in towards turn 1. We get the run on Russell, we get the slipstream and the DRS to defend against, to attack Hamilton because he came over to cut us off, but we use that to our advantage and we're up into 4th place now. Meanwhile, Sam there is trying to have a go at Russell down in towards turn 4. Can he make that move stick? No, Russell holds the position and he's all good. Back at the front though, there's a 3-way fight here for the race lead. Reese has overtaken Sebastian Vettel, but Vettel wants that lead back, and he's going to get that lead back going towards turn 1. Quite a clean move there from Vettel as he makes his way up into the lead of the Grand Prix, but those 3 drivers are going to be swapping positions quite a lot as we go forwards. Back on board here with Sam. He's actually now under pressure here from Bottas in the other McLaren driver, or is that, sorry, that's Carlos Sainz, my apologies. Sam is ahead there, fighting off Verstappen in the foreground. That's Bottas overtaking Sainz there, so bear with me, it's going to take me a while to understand drivers as well as everybody else. That is Charles Leclerc behind Verstappen and Sam as they go in towards turn 4. Verstappen gets the move done on the Audi driver, so it seems that while Sam had a great qualifying session, it's not quite working out in the race so far. Back on board with us though, lap 6 here. The battle between Vettel and Reese is allowing us to close the gap ever so slightly here on the 2 of them here, and you can see Hamilton is also chasing in the background there. Reese though is trying to have a look here on Sebastian Vettel down in towards turn 1. We've got DRS here on Max Verstappen. Reese makes the move there on Sebastian Vettel. We're going to go for a lunge here though on Verstappen down the inside into turn 1. Get the car slowed down, and we've overtaken Lando Norris there. I should have said not Max Verstappen, my apologies. Lando Norris has been overtaken, and that is job done for us. One lap later though here, and now we're trying to catch up on the back of Reese here. Vettel has got the DRS here. He's going to go for it again on Reese. These two are going to keep on swapping places. Vettel, is he going to have to work for this move, or is Reese going to have to let him through? Unfortunately for Vettel, he has to work for it, but he gets it done. But on the run towards turn 4, this is where it's going to give Reese a good shot now, because another dose of DRS is coming his way. Meanwhile, we're also trying to defend here against Norris in the background there. Reese then tries to go past Verstappen. It doesn't work. We defend against Lando Norris, who had DRS on us. But crucially, we've now got DRS here on Reese and Vettel to get involved in the battle. But lap 8 of the Grand Prix, we're going to make the chance here and come into the pits for the first time in this Grand Prix. And Reese is going to come in as well. So it's going to be myself versus Reese in the pit stops. It's Porsche versus Aston Martin. Come on, you Aston boys. I'd like a lovely pit stop. I want to be out in front of Reese and I want to have a lovely time. So let's try and get that done then. So we're coming into the pits then for a set of the medium compound tyres. Good start from the boys. Is that enough to get ahead of Reese? You bet it is. We're in front of Reese now in this race, and that's a net second coming our way. The Porsche driver, the Porsche mechanic, should I say, too slow out of the box. Meanwhile, that's Gasly versus, I think that's Behrman, and then Lawson and also Albon in the back there. So they're all having a nice little scrap with each other, but we have now got a net second place in this Bahrain Grand Prix with Reese behind us, but he's going to have DRS here on the run towards turn 4, so just got to be a little bit careful. But crucially, there's not enough straight line for Reese to get that move done, so we are absolutely safe from that one, as we now need to catch up to these back markers. Although I say back markers, it's a genuine fight for position. Now, as you can see, all of them basically peel off into the pits, which is brilliant, but Alex Albon opts to stay out, and that means that me and Reese now have got to overtake Albon on the track. As you'll see coming out of the pits there is Sebastian Vettel, there is Lando Norris, there is us making the dive down the inside for the lead of the Bahrain Grand Prix. That's secured now for us, but of course, we've undercut Vettel and Norris, so it's crucial now that we get on with this race. Meanwhile, Reese now is trying to go down the inside of Albon in towards turn 4. Albon, though, goes around the outside and holds track position. That's a key move for us in this Grand Prix, because as Reese now, on the middle way through lap 10, goes around the outside of Lando Norris in towards the heart of the middle sector, or the end of it, should I say, that time that Reese couldn't pass Albon has given us the 1 second gap that we need to stay out of DRS of that Porsche now, and this is crucial. But here's where things in the race get interesting, as we're watching Vettel trying to overtake Albon. I'm in the lead on the medium tyres. Reese is in second on the mediums. Both Vettel and Norris have gone onto the soft tyres, so both of them are going to be quicker than myself and Reese, and they are both going to go on the attack here. Also, Lando Norris is going to go on the attack here on Vettel, because Norris has got DRS, Vettel's got it as well, but Norris has got slipstream and DRS at his disposal. Down the inside in towards turn 1, Norris tries to go for it here, just about holds off, Vettel just about holds off Norris, but the run towards turn 4 is going to be critical here, because Norris will have the DRS, Vettel won't, and this is going to give him a great chance now, down towards turn 4. Vettel, though, around the outside, Vettel holds the position, and he stays in P3 in this Grand Prix, and now they can go after myself and Reese, actually, in this Grand Prix. But before they go after each other, Norris still wants to be the one leading the charge, as he uses the DRS to go down the inside of Sebastian Vettel in towards turn 1. He's actually got a great run there, great slipstream, and that's going to give him a good chance now to go after Reese in this race. And in fact, a couple of laps later, that's exactly what he's doing now. As you can see, he's got the DRS here. There we are, just in front of all this, as Norris now goes past Reese here in towards turn 1. Lando Norris now is second in this Bahrain Grand Prix, and worryingly, on the soft tyres, as we mentioned earlier. That's going to give him a great chance now to come at me in the later stages of the stint. Meanwhile, further back, this is Valtteri Bottas here, coming up against Max Verstappen in the second Ferrari. And further back, we've got Sam, who's got DRS on Verstappen. He's also got Charles Leclerc in the second Porsche behind him, and he's also got his teammate Carlos Sainz. Meanwhile, we've got Bottas taking on Verstappen. We've got Sam that's trying to fight off against Charles Leclerc, who's going to make the runs up towards turn 4 and survive in all of it. Well, so far, it's going to be looking like Bottas has got DRS here to defend against Verstappen. Max, though, will go around the outside, and fair play to Verstappen. He's got the job done. Meanwhile, the background there, I think Carlos Sainz has just overtaken both Charles Leclerc and Sam's lost 2 places, so that's not gone quite well for him. But lap 15 of the Grand Prix. Reese is coming back at the Norris here with the DRS, so it's clearly working, staying in the DRS for Lando, so as he, for Reese there. So as he goes around the outside of turn 1, he will claim that position, but not quite though. Norris actually gets a great run there up towards turn 4. They'll fight now with DRS here. Reese is having to go defensive here against Vettel down towards turn 4. Will he make it stick for Norris there? Holds position. What about Reese and Vettel though? Reese is the man that holds position, but the battling that they're doing is just allowing me to manage my tyres and just manage the race pace at the moment here, as Vettel now gets another chance here to attack Reese now down towards turn 1. Here comes Sebastian Vettel with the DRS here. This is probably going to be a clean-cut move, actually. Further back, though, you can see Lewis Hamilton there is also making a nice clean overtake. He's overtaking my teammate Piastri. The two of them, though, are catching these guys in front, and there's also the other McLaren there of George Russell, so there he's still in the fight. I think he might have actually just come into the pits, actually. I take that back. Meanwhile, though, Oscar Piastri overtakes Lewis Hamilton, and I do understand that I've said meanwhile and background and foreground about 60 million times. Just go with the flow. But that is Piastri making the move, and fair play, actually. That for Piastri would be a net P5 in this Grand Prix, which would mean that he is making up a lot of places here. Lap 20 of the Grand Prix now. Now, this is a key thing to note here, as Norris is going to go down the inside of Reese here. All these cars, as you can see, they're on the hard compound tyres, so they've all just made their second stops of the Grand Prix, and they're going to the end. I have not stopped yet in this race. I'm going longer than everybody else because they all did the undercut on me. Here I am on the medium compound tyres. The pace was electric. It was so consistent. I decided to stay out. I wanted to go onto the soft tyres to the end. I knew a couple of factors here. The hard tyres would take a couple of laps to warm up and get into play, so that would have given me the advantage. The second thing to note as well is that they, as you would have seen, are battling. So it means that they're not taking the full advantage of those fresh hard tyres. Going on to a fresh set of softs then towards the end of the race, that is definitely going to give me track position. But as you can see then, we're coming out of the pits here. There is Reese, there is Norris, there is Vettel. They're fighting in towards turn 1. We're going to take the lead back though. Well, not back though, we're still in the lead here of the Bahrain Grand Prix. So that strategy from ourselves has worked perfectly in this Grand Prix. And that means now that with 8 or so laps to go, firstly, we've got Norris versus Reese versus Vettel up towards turn 4. Vettel is going to go from 4th right around the outside to take second place in the Grand Prix. What a move from Sebastian Vettel as Norris and Reese keep the fight going, and as they go on a little bit longer, and whoa, we got a spin there in the background there. George Russell there, as we were watching the fight going on. Russell has spun in towards the first corner, and I think he's got a problem because he's trying to carry on. No, yeah, he's got a problem. So he's locked the rear end of the car, and that is George Russell out of the Bahrain Grand Prix. So something has caused the rear end to lock up there, and he's not able to continue in this Grand Prix. What a real shame there for George Russell, but this battle continues then as Sainz now overtakes Sam in this Grand Prix. They're having a great fight, all of those lot. Oscar Piastri, though, is fighting away with Lewis Hamilton. In fact, he's been fighting away with Lewis Hamilton for the entirety of this Grand Prix now as he gets the move done with the DRS down in towards turn 1. Hamilton has to settle behind Piastri for the time being, but that's okay. And unfortunately, we've got yet another retirement in this Grand Prix. And like I said, please ignore the names that you see on the top, because it's not Albon, it's Daniel Ricciardo. I will tell you who is who, as I said at the start. And Daniel Ricciardo has pulled over for Renault, and the reason why is because of an engine failure. And as you would have seen in the pre-season, Renault had issues with engines in pre-season, and now they've got issues here. That's not very good for them. What is going to be good, though, for Lando Norris is making the move on Max Verstappen, on Sebastian Vettel. God, please help me. He makes that move, job done. But Vettel is like, well, no, I'm not allowing that. I'm going to come back at you now with my DRS here and breeze past you in towards the first corner. But as you can see, there we are, just up ahead there. We're basically managing the gap, managing the pace here, because the soft tyres are actually graining a lot more than I expected. So while we've got the pace, we just can't go gung-ho and just push like mad, because you can see they're battling away. We're not that far ahead, so I've just got to be manageable. You know, quite a lot of stints are just on medium ERS, not even changing it to hot lap, and then I'm doing one lap in hot lap mode, and then going back to medium for like 2 or 3 laps, and just managing it that way, basically. Because like I said, I don't want to kill the tyres, because that's kind of where we're at, though. And unfortunately, Pierre Gasly is now out of the session. So the other Renault driver, and that's another engine failure for Renault. It's back-to-back engine failures for the both of them now. So no Renault driver will even cross the start-finish line That's just an absolute disaster for them in this Grand Prix. But Vettel now is under pressure here from Norris on lap 27. Norris tried to go around the outside there, had to shut the DRS, readjust himself, chucked to the inside line. Norris now with the run. Vettel though holds the position, actually holds it very nicely and stays in front of Lando Norris. Piastri is holding off Lewis Hamilton further back for the fight for P5 in this Grand Prix. Vettel is trying to defend into the middle of the track. He does. Job done. Lap 28 though, Vettel's got another defending job to do here, because now here comes Norris for another attack here down towards turn 1. Norris, will he have enough ERS and slipstream and battery and everything to go past? Yes, he does, as he overtakes Vettel. Meanwhile, Reese there is just sitting patiently further back, waiting for the opportunity to pounce at both of them. And as you can see, is the yellow flag still waving there for Pierre Gasly's Renault, as we see Vettel now with the DRS here on the final lap of the Grand Prix. He's going to go down the inside here on Lando Norris, and he makes the move stick there on the Ferrari driver. And Ferrari driver, though, tries to come back at him for another fight, but Vettel holds it around the outside. That's going to upset Norris on the run towards turn 4. Norris will have the DRS here, but so too does Reese in the Porsche. Who's going to get the run? Reese has got the run. He gets ahead of Lando Norris, and he's onto the podium now for the Porsche driver. So he is now up into third place. But for us, though, we are now coming towards the final corner here on our debut for Aston Martin to go ahead and take the first of hopefully many victories this season. We're going to cross the line to win the Bahrain Grand Prix. What a start it is going to be for us here in the Aston Martin. Vettel crosses the line to finish in second, as you would have seen. Reese there came across in third, and Lando Norris completed that top 4. But what a race from us from start to finish. We were brilliant. We had some great race pace in there, and overall there's a couple of key things that allowed us to win that race to this weekend. First things first, the overtake on Albon at the end of the start of the second stint was absolutely vital. If we didn't overtake Albon if Reese even overtook Albon up towards turn 4 and stayed within the 1 second zone, it would have been a different race, because we would have been in the DRS train of Reese and been caught in the fight. So that was massive. The fact that we were able to have that DRS there, that gap, was critical, because I could manage that then, because I'd actually set the car up for some good top end speed, but was able to keep quite a lot of grip in the corners, which was vital. So by having the top end speed, it just meant that if the battles were going on in towards turn 1 and they didn't get a clean overtake with DRS done, which meant no compromise in time, it just allowed me to pull clear, and that was critical. And the other key thing was extending the medium tyre stint, not going onto the hards and going onto the softs. It worked perfectly. They were battling hard on those hard tyres. It takes time for them to warm up as well, and the mediums can still outdo them. And the tyre wear was low. It was a lot lower than I thought it was going to be. A one stop definitely would have worked 100%, but I wanted to do a 2-stop. I don't like being boring, so we did what we did. But nonetheless, though, on his return to Formula 1, Sebastian Vettel gets the podium. Fair play to him. The Red Bull still looking quick in the hands of Vettel. And also the Porsche car looking decent there. Reese finishing in third. In the end, 0.6 of a second behind Vettel, with Lando Norris finishing in fourth. He'll be disappointed not to secure a podium, of course. It was a good fight between myself, Vettel, Reese and Norris throughout the parts of that race, especially for the second and third stint for the other 3 drivers. So he'll be a bit annoyed about that. Meanwhile, Oscar Piastri, my teammate, collects P5, which is absolutely brilliant for the team. And obviously with me getting the fastest lap of 1:25.768, that goes a long way. So we'll take that. He manages to beat Lewis Hamilton in the end by 0.2 of a second. So obviously those two are battling hard themselves, and I'm glad to see Oscar come out on top. Obviously, if we were saying that last season, I'd be upset because obviously Hamilton was my teammate, but not this time around. Carlos Sainz gets points for Audi on his debut for the team, so that's great to see, with Valtteri Bottas picking up points for McLaren. Charles Leclerc does get in the points in the end for Porsche, so 3 drivers all getting points on their debut for their new teams, and make that 4 actually, because Kimi Antonelli on his first run in Formula 1 qualified outside the top 10, but gets himself into the top 10 in the race itself, picking up the final points paying position. So fair play to Kimi Antonelli. But looking at the second half of the table now, Sam finishes in P11. A difficult race for him today. He started quite well, but just dropped off due to the battles and just couldn't quite get into the swing of it. But He finished 27.7 seconds off in the end. It was only about a second or so behind Antonelli. So he was definitely in the battle between Antonelli, Leclerc, Bottas and Sainz. Just didn't work out for him in the end, so that's a shame. Verstappen, meanwhile, finishes in P12. Now, I actually didn't realise this, but Max Verstappen, he got a 10-second time penalty in this race for ignoring the yellow flags for when Pierre Gasly retired from the Grand Prix. I didn't know that until I scrolled through the race analysis and spotted that. So if Verstappen didn't get a 10-second time penalty, he would have actually finished in P7, but not to be for Max, so he'll be fuming about that one. Stoffel Van Dorn finishes in 13th for BMW, a decent return for him, with Liam Lawson and Alex Albon finishing in 14th and 15th for the two Jaguars. Oliver Behrman finishes in 16th on his debut for the team, with Sergio Perez, a shocking P17. I didn't quite see anything of Sergio Perez's race, so I'm not quite sure what happened. I know he had a tough qualifying, but to finish last of the classified runners is appalling, so I don't really know what happened there. Unfortunately for both Renault drivers, it's a DNF apiece. A double DNF on their first race in Bahrain is not the start to the season they want to have, and George Russell, of course, will not want his start to the season either, because he unfortunately also DNF'd from this race. Taking a look at the Drivers' Championship now, I'm not going to talk about it for much long because it's literally obviously the top 10. The only difference, of course, is that we have the 26 points because we've got the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. So that's why that's different, and everyone else is exactly the same, so read it and weep. Looking at the Constructors' Championship now, and Aston Martin take a decent haul of points, in fact a brilliant haul of points should I say, from this first round. We lead the championship with 36 points. Red Bull are second in the championship with 18 points thanks to Sebastian Vettel. Porsche are third in the championship on 17 points, with Ferrari fourth on 12 points. Mercedes have 9 points, with Audi having 6 and McLaren have 4, which means we've got 7, or we've already got 7 constructors picking up points in the first round of the season, so fair play. We've only got Jaguar, BMW and Renault that need to try and get themselves into the points. But that is it for the Bahrain Grand Prix. We're going to go now and have a look at the post-race notebook and see what the teams and drivers had to say after this race. Taking a look at the post-race notebook, and Tom wins his first race for Aston Martin here in Bahrain. Sebastian Vettel returns to the podium on his comeback, and Reese completes off the podium, finishing in third place, just ahead of the Ferrari of Lando Norris in P4. Starting things off with Sebastian Vettel, he was happy to be back on the podium once again after his hiatus away from Formula 1. This was obviously an unexpected return for Sebastian Vettel, and he is glad that he's got a car that can definitely fight for wins going into the next few races. Reese was left angry after a poor Grand Prix from himself. Of course, finishing P3 in a very closely contested battle, you would think is not a bad thing, but for Reese, it definitely was. First things first, by coming in early to do the undercut, it didn't work out as the Aston Martin mechanics managed to beat the Porsche mechanics out of the blocks and get Tom in front of Reese during the pit stops. Then Reese was not able to clear Albon going up towards turn 4, meaning that Tom was able to build a 1-second gap and stay clear of him. Then, of course, being stuck in the battles with Norris and Verstappen, who were also on the soft compound tyres at the time, and then being stuck in a fight with them at the end of the race when they were on the hards, all just left it going a little bit wrong for the Porsche driver. And it is something that he's going to need to improve on going into the next race in Jeddah. Finally, looking at Sam, his debut for Audi didn't go as planned. It was a good qualifying session, but it ended with no points, and Sam was left confused by his own race pace. He really wasn't too sure about where he was making all of his losses, but ultimately he knows that he needs to get on with it, understand the car more to try and extract the best out of it going into the next few races. But that is it for the first round of this F1 season here at Bahrain. If you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to drop it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here as well, and I'll catch you guys for the next one. Take care all.